Welcome and thank you everyone for joining us on such an important and special day. In particular, there are a number of people who have joined us today that I would like to recognize, particularly from the Breast Cancer Society of Canada. We have Executive Director Marcia Davidson, her staff, two board members, Raylene Pisecki and Marilyn Campbell-Davis, along with many supporters who rented a van and came from Sarnia to join us. We're delighted that you're with us today. Also from Sarnia, members of the Greenaway family, thank you. From the London Health Sciences Foundation, Susan Carlisle, our chair, and our president, John McFarlane. Also from London Health Sciences Centre, our chair, Ruth Ann Coiningham, was unfortunately unable to join us, but I'm pleased that our vice chair, Tom Gergay, is with us today. Also with us is the Vice President and Cancer Chair for LHSC, and he's also the Regional Vice President, Southwest Regional Cancer Program for Cancer Care Ontario, Neil Johnson. Neil, I'm going to talk to you about that job title later. Along with the directors of the Pamela Greenaway Kohlmeyer Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit here at LHSC and with the Regional Cancer Program, and that is Dr. Ann Chambers and Dr. Allison Allen. And also along with them are many members and many members of their research team and students. For those of you who don't know me, I am Kelly Tranquilli. I'm a co-chair of our Cancer Campaign Cabinet with the London Health Sciences Foundation, and with me I am joined by my co-chair, Mr. Kirk Baines. We are here today to celebrate a unique partnership between the Breast Cancer Society of Canada and with the London Health Sciences Foundation and the Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit. It's most commonly referred to by us as the TBRCU. As a breast cancer survivor myself, I am very grateful on a very personal level for the patient-focused work of the TBRCU and its collaboration with our cancer program here in London. I am also very grateful for the fundraising and awareness that the organizations of the Breast Cancer Society of Canada and the London Health Sciences Foundation bring to this important work and the patient-focused care that is going on in this city. I personally feel that I am able to be here with you today because of the medical advances that have been afforded by the research and because of the personalized care that has resulted from that collaboration between research and delivering care that is happening today at London Health Sciences. These are just a couple of the reasons why I was very pleased to accept the invitation to be a co-chair of the Foundation's Cancer Campaign Cabinet. The Pamela Greenaway Kohlmeyer Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit was started with support and a commitment from the Breast Cancer Society of Canada. And while there are many donors who contribute, give of their time, their money, their resources to breast cancer research through the London Health Sciences Foundation and the Society itself has been crucial in providing some very central support to the TBRCU's research. What we'd like to now share with you is a very short video that will give you a better understanding and window on the world-class research and work that is being done right here in London.
Probably every person that you meet will have somebody affected by breast cancer.
Cancer is a very complex disease. We're very fortunate in London to have a very collaborative community, and you need that to be able to make any impact on cancer research.
London in particular is a very collaborative city. It's one of the reasons that I decided to come here in the first place.
And stay here.
And then, the way technology is going, we can collaborate with people all over the world.
Donor support gives us seed funding to fund new creative ideas, get the evidence that we need, that this is really a good way to go, and then we're better armed to go to external agencies and bring in support for it.
I really think now more than ever, donor support is so critical for cancer research. Safe ideas don't make huge breakthroughs in science. To sort of keep in mind that critical aspect of patients waiting for better treatments and better cures, the donor dollars fuel these really what we call high risk but high reward ideas.
I'm Dr. Ann Chambers.
And I'm Dr. Allison Allen.
And we're directors of the Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Good afternoon, everyone. As Kelly noted, the Breast Cancer Society of Canada has been instrumental in forming and supporting the Pamela Greenaway Colmar Translational Cancer Center Research Unit. And those acronyms are killing me. What more, the Breast Cancer Society of Canada has developed a unique relationship with the Foundation and our hospital, and directly with the TBCR. It's set of relationships which has become the model for them across Canada. Their relationships with the team at the TBCRU is special, not only because of the history that the Breast Cancer Society has had with the unit, but because of the results of Dr. Ann Chambers' research and Dr. Allison Allen. And the rest of the TBCRU team have been able to achieve their research goals, all of which would not have been possible without the outstanding and flexible support of the Breast Cancer Society of Canada. And that's where that relationship has really worked out well, I believe. Today, the Breast Cancer Society has some important and exciting news about their support, which they would like to share with you. So I'm going to ask the director of the Breast Cancer Society of Canada, the executive director, Marcia Davidson, to come up forward and then make that announcement. Marcia?
Hi, everyone. This is such a good news story day, and we are so delighted to be here. And I'm really delighted to see Lawrence and Kay Greenaway right over here. Hi, guys. It's so important that you have joined us today in this celebration because you have created just a phenomenal legacy for your daughter, Pam. So thank you. And how appropriate to have Kelly Tranquilli up here as a breast cancer survivor. Since inception, the Breast Cancer Society has worked to raise funds for breast cancer research so people like Kelly can be with us here today. Funding research saves lives. And every day the TBCRU team strives to find solutions for this complex disease that affects so many. We firmly believe that funding breast cancer research teams like the TBCRU fosters innovation and creativity in a collaborative environment with a common goal of improving the quality of life for breast cancer patients and ultimately putting an end to this disease. Today, I am very pleased to announce the continued support of the Breast Cancer Society of Canada with an additional $5 million to support the TBCRU research. I didn't want you to have to wait too long to hear exactly the amount. With this announcement, our total commitment to the research here right in London now exceeds $10 million. And for us, an organization whose grassroots located in Sarnia, I always say we're at the end of the road because you can't go much farther in this country, to turn into a national organization, all inspired by a family. This is a really important day for us to show what can be accomplished by a small group that has a common goal. We are honored to play a role, just a slight role, in this high caliber research that's renowned all over the world. So people of London, you should feel very proud about what's happening in your community. I would now like to ask John McFarland, Murray Glending, and Dr. Ann Chambers and Dr. Allison Allen to come forward for a check presentation.
Wow. Thank you very, very, very much, Marcia. And on behalf of the London Health Sciences Foundation's Cancer Cabinet Campaign, we are sincerely thankful for your efforts and that of the Breast Cancer Society of Canada. As Marcia mentioned, that has raised the Society's cumulative donation supporting our hospital to more than $10 million. I got to give you another round of applause. The latest gift that is also the lead gift towards our cancer research campaign for care and education in our current funding campaign. Speaking for Kelly and myself as co-chairs, I can say that we are generously and collaboratively spirit of the Society is particularly heartwarming to all of us here at the Foundation. This relationship has grown over the years, and we are very, very proud to be affiliated with you. Collaboration with our hospital, our donors, and like-minded fundraising organizations such as the Breast Cancer Society is a key philosophy of our foundation. Collaboration is the hallmark of researchers and clinicians at London Health Sciences Centre, and as they work together to enhance and advance our understanding and treatment of cancer and other diseases, collaboration with our community and regional healthcare partners is also a cornerstone of our hospital strategy for providing the best care for patients and their families. Murray Glendinning is the President and CEO of London Health Sciences Centre. He is guiding a transformation of healthcare through collaboration at London Health Sciences Centre, and I would ask him to come forward to say a few words. Murray?
Thank you, Kirk. And thank you, Marcia and the Breast Cancer Society of Canada for your generous and ongoing support of our hospital. Donations like yours are absolutely essential if we are going to enhance and advance our current standard of healthcare. At LHSC, our patients are the reason why we are transforming healthcare through collaboration, both inside our hospital and with our partners in the community and region. As Kirk mentioned, this same collaborative philosophy is at the core of translational or bench-to-bedside research method, where observations from the bedside are taken to the lab and studied, and the discoveries at the bench can be more rapidly translated into modified and new treatments at the bedside. To enhance and advance care for our patients, and while our patients in this hospital and our region benefit from these discoveries first, patients everywhere also benefit when we share these discoveries with the world. Partners in the community, like BCSC and its donors, are also part of the collaborative effort that makes healthcare better. They enable innovative care and research by providing critical funding that helps us attract and retain the best people at LHSC. People like Canada Research Chair in Oncology, Dr. Ann Chambers. People like Dr. Allison Allen, and indeed the entire TB-CRU team, including the students who are mentored in the labs, and who represent the future of breast cancer research in this country. I would like to take a moment to thank the entire TB-CRU team for their dedication to helping patients and their families through research and discovery, and for inspiring this generous donation. Most importantly, I'd like to express our hospital's heartfelt thanks to Breast Cancer Society of Canada and its founders and supporters for this exceptional gift announced today, and for your past gifts that have already positively affected the course of research at LHSC's London Regional Cancer Programme. Your ongoing support is one of the reasons our hospital continues to be at the forefront of discovery and at the forefront of treating patients with breast cancer. We couldn't do it without your committed and collaborative partnership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. I would like to now introduce Dr. Ann Chambers. But before I do, I want to reiterate on this relationship and this partnership with the Breast Cancer Society. I was part of kind of working through the details of what they wanted to do and what the center wanted to do, and it is just amazing what can be done when people work together collaboratively to make things happen for the good. So thank you very much again. So back to Dr. Ann Chambers. She is the Canadian Research Chair in Oncology, a Professor of Oncology for Western Ontario, and the Director of the Pamela Greenway Kohlmeier Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit at London Health Sciences Centre, London Regional Cancer Program, who, along with Dr. Alison Allen, leads the exceptional researchers and students who are inspired by today's announcements. As Dr. Chambers comes up, let me share with you a short video illustrating the positive effect that breast cancer research and care has on patients at our hospital.
I first found the lump in my breast on Christmas Day 2004, so that was quite a gift. So I spent a couple of weeks pretending that it might go away. Finally came to terms with dealing with it and got the news that it was stage 3. I got the diagnosis, which was a pretty grim one, in the middle of January. Dr. Vandenberg took me into surgery within a week. To me, he is the definition of personalized medicine. He was more than just a physician treating the cancer in me. I felt like he was trying to heal the person. The time that my 6-year-old decided that I was cancer-free was when my hair started growing back. I didn't learn until later that he never wanted any photographs taken of me during that time because that's not who I was. And he was just so happy to see my hair come back because it meant his mother was coming back. I believe in supporting healthcare because if we all work together, that's how innovation comes to be, and that benefits all of us. I'm Kelly Tranquilli, and I'm a breast cancer survivor.
Well, thank you for that, Kelly. That's always moving to watch. This donation, this is a very exciting day for me. This donation will help support 2 key citywide components of our program. First of all, our seed funding program, which helps support early, high-risk but high-reward projects to help them get launched. As Alison mentioned in the video, you can't get external large grants without preliminary data. We put our investigators in good position to do that by funding seed grants. The other component that will be supported is our translational training program. This provides scholarships to train the next generation of breast cancer researchers. You'll notice that a number of people have name badges with our logo on them. After the program, please approach one of them, ask them what they're doing. There's a whole range of very exciting research that these trainees and their mentors are carrying out, and we couldn't do that without the support from Breast Cancer Society of Canada. I want to thank you on behalf of and people struggle with this, Pamela Greenaway Kohlmeier, Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit. It's a long name, yes, but every one of those words has real meaning to us. I want to thank Lawrence and Kay Greenaway and also Brenda for being here, for creating the Breast Cancer Society of Canada. You had a vision, you shared in our vision to create the TBCRU. We are so grateful for what you have launched in the name of your daughter. Your daughter's Pamela's picture is outside my office. Every time I go to work, every time anyone comes to visit, we're reminded of why we do what we do. So thank you. Thank you to Marcia Davidson and the Breast Cancer Society of Canada for believing in the vision that we had and helping sustain this vision. We're working very hard to help develop better ways to diagnose, treat, and prevent breast cancer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Chambers. We are going to invite a panel to the stage that will discuss translational breast cancer research from the researchers, the clinicians, and a patient's point of view. To moderate the panel, we are joined by Cheryl Weidmark, a community journalist with a passion for healthcare. Cheryl is known in her work for television and radio. Her community involvement includes work with organizations such as Wellsprings London and Region, Dale Brain Injury Association, and 100 Women Who Care. She is currently working in the marketing and communications at London Life Insurance as a video producer. Cheryl?
It's going to be musical chairs today, Dr. Chambers. I'm going to call you back up again. We will start with Dr. Kylie Potvin. If Dr. Kylie would like to come up, and we'll welcome her in a second. Dr. Potvin is a consultant medical oncologist at the London Regional Cancer Program, also an assistant professor in the Department of Oncology at Western University. She is the director of the postgraduate training program in medical oncology and chair of the National Fellowship Committee of the Canadian Association of Medical Oncologists. She has strong interests in patient advocacy and medical education, and she is also a classically trained opera singer.
I'm not singing for you now.
That was my next question. Dr. Alison Allen, if you would like to come up, is a senior oncology scientist at the London Regional Cancer Program, London Health Sciences Centre, and the assistant director of the Pamela Greenaway Kohlmeier Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit. Dr. Allen's research interests lie in the study of molecular mechanisms that influence normal cellular growth, tumor development, and cancer progression. Dr. Alison Allen used to ride horses competitively and has a passion for tennis. She is a Rafael Nadal fan, which us Federer fans will not hold against her today. Dr. Ann Chambers is the Canada Research Chair in Oncology, a distinguished oncology scientist at the London Regional Cancer Program, and the director of the Pamela Greenaway Kohlmeier Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit as well, as a professor of oncology at Western University. Dr. Ann Chambers started as a marine biologist researcher and spent a lot of her time researching marine life in Bermuda. And Kelly Tranquilli, if I could ask you to come up again as well, a graduate of Carleton University in Ottawa with a Bachelor of Journalism. Kelly obtained her law degree with distinction from Western University in 1996. She is a partner at Learners, practicing in the areas of health and insurance litigation. London Health Sciences Centre has always been a special place for Kelly and her family, and she is honored to have the opportunity to give back to this organization. I would like to give everyone here a warm welcome, and thank you for coming today. We're gonna start with Dr. Potvin. Dr. Potvin, can you talk to us a little bit about how and what kind of progress has been made over the course of the last 10, 20, 30 years from your experience?
So thankfully, I haven't been practicing for 30 years. My anti-aging projects are helping that. No, I have been practicing for close to 10 years, and I only have a few minutes to talk. We could be here all day if I were to tell you about the advances that we've made. I think the first really exciting thing is that we know that breast cancer survival rates are some of the best of any type of cancer, and they're getting better every single year. So from a pure statistical standpoint, we know it's a fact. But as a clinician who's been practicing this for the past 10 years, a few highlights. The first thing is I have a job with real tools to be able to help people because of the persistence and the passion that people like Alison and Anne give to us of their time. People have no idea how difficult and oftentimes discouraging it can be to do research. So what are some amazing things with breast cancer? So the first thing with any kind of cancer is a single label, and what we know because of research, bench research, is that it's a single label that represents 1,000 rare diseases. So there has been a lot of research done looking at different subtyping of breast cancer now because they have different gene profiles. They behave very differently. And again, I could put 10 women in front of you with a diagnosis of breast cancer. How we would treat it would be quite different in all of them. How it would behave in all of them would be quite different, just because we understand it is a very heterogeneous disease. So that's been because of the work of researchers identifying these. And a perfect example, one of the biggest successes in oncology has been related to something called HER2/neu positive breast cancer. So there's an absolutely fascinating story behind it that I don't have time to share with you, but the bottom line is this is a breast cancer that historically used to be one of the deadliest forms of breast cancer, but nobody ever knew why. And it wasn't until, because of the persistence of another researcher, an oncologist named Dennis Slayman, who figured out that it was this particular gene showing up in about 20% of breast cancers that led to it being so aggressive. So because they found the gene and its downstream effects, as a result, that breast cancer has gone from being one of the deadliest to one of the most curable breast cancers. And I mean curable. And that is because as a result, we've been able to design very specific treatments targeted against this kind of breast cancer. And truly in 2005, there were 10,000 people. I was in the audience at the presentation at our big international oncology meeting, and people were actually crying when the results of this data was published in early breast cancer. So deadliest disease to one of the most curable diseases as a result. We are learning about more specific targets now to try to identify who are the patients that we need to treat in terms of preventive type of therapies as opposed to treating everybody and avoiding toxicities. So there's been absolutely tremendous work done in this field. And like I said, the increased survival rates are a testament to this fact.
So that being said, what are we doing moving forward? What's next in terms of research?
So there's a lot of catchphrases thrown out there with regard to cancer and its treatment, and one that we hear a lot about is personalized care, personalized medicine. And I think that this is a direction that the work that Dr. Allen and Dr. Chambers are doing are going to help us in different ways. And we actually have other people joining us here in London that are going to help us. We need to know who to treat. We need to know specifically with what to treat them and when we should treat them. And if we look at the early setting, ideally, if we can find markers, easily identifiable markers that will tell us who has deadly disease versus potentially not, because not all cancers are going to kill people, then we are going to be able to identify who needs treatment and then help us identify specifically what treatment they need. So those early markers are really important. And Dr. Allen is doing some really pioneering work in this. Secondly, it's what kills breast cancer patients. It's metastatic disease. We're not good enough yet. We need to understand the disease better from a gene profile, how these diseases behave. We need to understand resistance to the current treatments that we're using. And so we need to be able to identify that disease. We need to be able to identify those patients as well. Why does this disease spread in some people and not others? How do we target that? How do we best treat it? And again, that's absolutely essential work that Dr. Chambers is contributing to. So we have the expertise, the people here to do this, and these are some of the most important areas of work that we're looking at.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And Dr. Allen, how has the research that you've been doing contributed to the work that Dr. Potvin was speaking about today?
So I think that one of the things that London does really well that a lot of centers and a lot of research programs don't is that we focus on this aspect of metastasis. And so despite the fact that the majority of deaths that occur from breast cancer, as Kylie said, are still, we're getting really much better at treating specific types, early disease. The majority of patients that die from their breast cancer will die from metastatic disease, but only a very small amount of effort and dollars, importantly, are going towards cancer research focused on metastasis. The most of the funding is going towards looking at other things and has certainly made progress. So here in London, in the TBCRU, as well as citywide, we focus really on that. And so an example in my program, we do study the very basic science of why do cells metastasize? Why do they spread? We don't even understand that sometimes. So we study that. We try to figure out new proteins like HER2, so that we could identify new drugs. But more sort of immediate to the patients, we're working very hard on developing blood tests for detecting metastasis as it happens in real time. And so in your body, your bloodstream is kind of like a highway, so it's like the 401. The tumor cells need that highway to spread and to go to distant organs, to the lung, to the liver, to the brain. And this blood test, we think of it sort of as the traffic cop to sort of catch the bad guys, catch the speeders, identify them early so that we can hopefully stop them, do something about them, stop them from doing more damage. So we're very pleased that this year, in January actually, we partnered with Clinical Lab Services to actually move one of these tests into the clinic here at LHSC. And in the next few years, we hope it's going to be actually available to all patients here and also across Canada. And the other thing when we go back to the lab is that we're working on characterizing how, Kylie said she can put 10 women in front of you and they'll have 10 different diseases. So this blood test, we want to be able to say to each woman, your breast cancer has these specific characteristics, and that means that you are eligible for this drug, and we know that it will work in you, and we can get to that drug right away instead of kind of guessing, and because some of the older drugs are very toxic. So this blood test is helping us not only sort of see those speeders, but also figure out exactly what it is that makes them so bad and sort of nip them in the bud. So we're very excited, certainly here at LHSC, through the funding of the Breast Cancer Society and the collaborative nature of the hospital. It's been extremely rewarding for me as a scientist to be able to see an idea go all the way from, in the bench to all the way to benefiting patients. And so I'm very lucky to be, a scientist here, a scientist in London, and to be supported by the Breast Cancer Society of Canada.
Thank you, Dr. Allen. We'll move on to Dr. Chambers now. How has the TBCRU program specifically contributed to the benefits that breast cancer patients have been able to see?
We fund seed funding, we fund studentships, we have a few other programs as well, and this was created with the vision that we developed with the Greenaways. What we require of the applications for both programs is that they have a path set out that can take the research to the patient. Some of it has a very direct path, some of it is more indirect. Some of the more direct ones are medical imaging or work that people are doing to try to protect vital organs from radiation damage by using special imaging techniques. We fund things that have to do with bacteria and breast cancer, and that's a new growing area. We fund genomic research in breast cancer. We fund, as Allison said, a lot of research on different aspects of why do cancer cells spread and how do you stop them? What drugs can we develop? What timings can we figure out that will help use these drugs at the right time and place? Similarly, for the seed funding program, they have to have a path that sets where the research is going to go in terms of the patients. For both of the programs, we've been very good at leveraging the dollars. So Allison, for example, got a $25,000 seed funding grant. She got preliminary data. She then took that to a big agency, and she got a $500,000 grant for that. That wouldn't have happened if she didn't have the preliminary data. Similarly, a lot of our students will fund them for a year or so. Then they'll be much more competitive, having publications and productivity, to go and compete for CAHR training programs that then sustain them for the rest of their graduate career. So we've done a very collaborative sort of thing in London. We've made the decision to fund citywide, and that's helped bring the whole community together in terms of interactions, making new collaborations, that sort of thing. So I'm very proud of what we've done so far, and I look forward to coming years.
We'll move and talk a little bit more about the patient perspective, Kelly. So from your point of view, how has the bench to bedside research been able to help in terms of your recovery?
Great question. I have to tell you, when I first sat down with Anne and Allison and heard about Pamela's story, I was moved beyond anything, because I realized that just by the simple passage of 10 years, I could have been her. And that because of the legacy and courage of your daughter and the Greenaway family, there are people like me. I'm just one patient of thousands that pass through the cancer program. But you've made a difference in so many lives. As you heard Dr. Potvin say, that we've just had such incredible discoveries and advances in survivability in the last 10 years, and I want you to keep working on that. In my particular experience, what I witnessed was what we have a true gift in here with this center is when you have, you got the medical frontline who has direct access and collaboration with the science frontier. It's all happening in one place. There is a constant sharing of information. So rather than, in my case, waiting for advances to percolate through conferences and boards and new decisions on what standardized treatment should mean, I had an oncologist who had direct access and was coming back to the clinics and calling me up and saying, you know, we've restudied your pathologies, we've run it again, and we've just found out some exciting news, and we'd like to change up your treatment. Here's all the data. We've all discussed it and reviewed your case, and we really invite you to participate in this treatment. That's all I needed to hear. And so certainly I benefited from the incredible advances right in the early stages of my treatment with HER2, and then with some further advances a couple of years later when I was just about finished with the program, and they made some further discoveries. So keep it up.
Kelly, why do you think it's important then that the researchers and the clinicians communicate and work collaboratively together?
Well, in some ways, probably these three are better equipped to answer it than me, but from what I witnessed, it's the fact that my oncologist was able to immediately act on information rather than waiting for a conference or a journal article could come through and to discuss it at another meeting or a society symposium and debate it. There was a full roundtable available to him where all of this information could be shared immediately, and so start making a difference right away. When you're in a situation like me and so many others who have been through the journey that have joined us today, you don't necessarily have the luxury of waiting a year to find out whether this is the new thing. So that's what I've seen and that's what I've experienced.
Can I comment on that?
Absolutely,
as well?
Dr. Chambers.
So from a scientist perspective, it's really important for us to have physicians, because when we read about something or have an idea, it's really important to be able to go to a physician and say, if I did this, would this be useful to you? Sometimes they'll say no, because I wouldn't be able to use that information. Other times they sort of steer what you're doing and say, well, it would really be useful if you could do this instead. It's very much a two-way street. We need to know what the medical needs are now, and we need to help explain what we can do so that physicians can then think about where we can go. And it's a very interactive two-way street, and you need to be in the same city, the same building, running into each other over coffee, that sort of thing.
We are going to open it up to everyone who has any questions for any of our experts today, but maybe Dr. Potvin, you wanted to comment on that from a doctor's perspective?
Oh, for sure. You know, if the words collaboration, collaborative, every variation of the theme has been thrown out here, and it's 100% accurate. And what Anne is saying is very true. I mean, you need both. Like, we need the researchers, but we need the patients, and then the interaction between, which is the physicians. One doesn't happen without the other. You can have all the discoveries on the bench that you want, but if we can't get that out to the patients to actually test this in the patient population, we'll never get that answer. So, and as Anne said, it's, you know, when you're working on different sides of that fence, knowing what is feasible for the same thing for us, because sometimes, you know, the way things happen, it's observations in clinic, like something happens, you think about it, and then, but we have to ask them, hey, you know, what do you think of this idea? Can we do this? Do we have the resources? So it just cannot happen in isolation. And the other thing I would say is, Kelly's a perfect example of this. Patients are extremely savvy and educated today. And it's a bit of a double-edged sword sometimes. But in essence, it's really a good thing because they come in informed, but it also means they often come in asking us to participate in research, asking us, what is going on here? What are you doing? So that is really crucial. And for me as a clinician to actually have that opportunity here it's a huge benefit for our patients.
Yeah, Dr. Allen.
So I just wanted to sort of add in that a lot of people in the public who are not in research think that this model of collaboration it's logical, right? It makes sense. So, of course, everyone is doing it. But I just want to emphasize that not everyone is doing it, and that's one of the things that makes London very unique and world-class. And so, for example, our neighbors down the road in Toronto, they're scattered all over the city. A lot of times the scientists are not anywhere near clinicians. We work, I think, more with some Toronto clinicians than they actually work with people in their own city, because they know that we're used to that model. So this is a really unique thing for London. And the other thing I wanted to mention is just the geography of us being located directly in the same building as the patient care. This means that Anne and I walk in every day through the treatment center, and once or twice a month I will see a young woman, the same age as me, the same age as Kylie. Kylie sees this probably every day. And they have children the same age as mine, and I think, my God, like that could be me, that could be my sister, that could be my friend. And that's just, it's incredibly motivating. It just puts in a sense of urgency for us to do, to work hard and to do relevant research.
I'm still amazed at all the research that's happening. I didn't even know about it until I started getting involved in this, so it's excellent. We'll open it up to questions. If anyone has any questions for any of our panel members about anything that we've discussed today, now would be the time. We do have some people with some microphones as well that will come around and do that. Where are the microphone people? Yeah, there's one over there. Maybe we can actually just ask a couple more questions, and then if anyone does have any questions, you can sort of find the point people if you guys want to just make yourself available. Dr. Allen, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the other ways that you connect with clinicians, and if you can give us an example of perhaps maybe a question or an observation at the bedside that has happened as a result of this, I guess.
So yeah, certainly, as Anne said, as scientists we interact with the clinicians, but our, the trainees who are supported through the TBCRU. For example, I have 2 trainees who are co-supervised by clinicians. So this means that these students, as they're up and coming, they're learning, they're learning this model as they go around, and the hope is that they're going to pay it forward. When they become a grown-up scientist, they're going to go and they're going to, wherever they get hired, and they're going to say, this is the way we need to do research, this is the way we need to make a difference. So we work in that way. And I think certainly others in our unit have done that as well. So an example is Eva Turley, who is just chatting with one of our radiation oncologists who had observed a lot of skin problems with patients who were receiving radiation. And Eva sort of said, oh, well, I'm researching this protein called HA, and we know from other applications that it actually works really well for skin. And so a partnership became available in a clinical trial to sort of help that. So that, that goes to the quality of life issue, and just, chatting in the hall, or as we interact with our students, with each other, these ideas just come and we sort of go our separate ways, do our own expertise, and come together to solve a problem.
Okay. Dr. Chambers, I have one question to you. Just a little bit about the funding model with the society and how that differs from traditional grant money, because we've sort of talked about both today a little bit.
Well, this actually was part of the interactions that the Greenaways and I had. Originally, they started out, of course, small, and we tried to run grant funding programs, and the administration behind that was unworkable. So we needed a new model. And what we thought was, if we could get stable funding in London for a series of programs, and then for each of those programs provide internal peer review, that would get rid of the administration problem, and that would give us a continuity so that we know that our studentship program will continue each year so that we can continue to support students. We know that the seed funding program will continue each year so that we can get people thinking now of, you have a good idea, well, work it up into a grant and you can apply twice-a-year competitions. Both of those programs are peer-reviewed by us, and it counts on the Breast Cancer Society of Canada trusting us to use this lump sum in a flexible but appropriate manner. So our bottom line is this the best use of donor dollars? And that we apply to everything.
Mm-hmm. With regards to up-and-coming next-generation researchers, maybe we can touch on that. And I know that TBCRU is very keen on supporting that. So how important is donor funding in that regard?
It's absolutely crucial. I mean, being a student is a hard thing. Being a graduate student is a costly endeavor. It requires a lot of sacrifices. If we can provide some stable funding so that they can attend school, they can work in a lab, then they're supported in what they're trying to do. And hopefully they'll get inspired by the translational model that we have here. I'm looking at Donna Murrell. I'm thinking as a student example. We funded her for, I guess, 1 year. She now has a 3-4-year scholarship. And she's doing some work on, with Dr. Paula Foster, on brain metastasis and better ways to detect them in the clinic. So she started with work in mice, and now there's a clinical trial that's been set up with a lot of the physicians and physicists here that's testing whether her ideas are in fact going to give better diagnosis of brain metastases for breast cancer patients. So I think the funding is just crucial.
That's amazing. No questions yet? No? Was there anything that you ladies wanted to add at all to anything we've discussed today before we go, from a patient perspective, clinician, researcher?
Just
Thank
something
you.
that I particularly learned from speaking with Anne and Allison that I think is so exciting just for cancer generally is that a lot of the work and advances that are being made within the TBCRU lend themselves to treatment in other forms of cancer. So this, in the big picture, is really not just about breast cancer. It's about dealing with all forms of the illness. So there's just so much exciting that's going on here.
Thank you so much. And we should give these ladies a round of applause again before we wrap up. The Breast Cancer Society of Canada, the researchers, the Pamela Greenaway Kohlmeier Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit, and London Health Sciences Foundation have a unique and collaborative relationship, as you can see, which is the model of funding supported and repeated by BCSC across Canada. As John McFarlane, president of London Health Sciences Foundation, comes to the stage for closing remarks, let's watch a brief video about the reason why BCSC makes wonderful commitments to support research like they have today.
The Breast Cancer Society of Canada has been funding research across the country, but our relationship here in London is the longest and the strongest. The mandate of the Breast Cancer Society of Canada is to support breast cancer research. We started in 2004 with the creation of the Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit, and since that time we have donated $5.6 million. We are very excited to be able to continue our support with another $5 million to the work at the Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit. We do this work to save lives. I'm going to recall a day when I first started working at the Breast Cancer Society. We got a little donation from this group of preschool kids that had made bracelets and sold them, and they sent us a check for $70. The same day I got a phone call from a young girl in Saskatchewan. She was 24 years old, had just been diagnosed with breast cancer, and just wanted to talk to somebody. So I thought, I can't imagine a better place to be. And we are very proud to be able to have that impact, but we've got to get the research out there to find these solutions. I'm Marcia Davidson, and I am Executive Director of the Breast Cancer Society of Canada.
Thank you to our distinguished panelists, and thank you, Cheryl, for taking the time as well to lend your talent today as our MC and moderator. Giving back through volunteering, as you have demonstrated through your work with charities here in London, is very important to the spirit of any community, so thank you for doing this. As you've already heard, this extraordinary commitment by the Breast Cancer Society of Canada came about because of the unique partnership formed between the Society, the researchers at our hospital's Pamela Greenaway Kohlmeier Translational Breast Cancer Research Unit, and our foundation. In fact, the collaboration between our two charitable organizations and the researchers over the years has become a model that the Society uses in forming other collaborative partnerships across Canada. The partnership with BCSC is also a model for us as well. With the same spirit that our hospital makes healthcare better by collaborating with care partners in our community and region, our foundation believes in partnering with like-minded philanthropic organizations when and where it makes sense, with the goal of reaching a common objective of enhancing and advancing healthcare. I'd like to thank Kirk and Kelly, our Cancer Cabinet co-chairs, for their work helping with today's announcement, and the entire Cabinet's ongoing work with our Foundation's fundraising efforts. Thanks also to the family of Pamela Greenaway Kohlmeyer for starting BCSC and making a tremendous difference in the face of a very emotional loss. And our heartfelt thanks to Marcia and her team at the Breast Cancer Society of Canada for continuing to work with our foundation and our hospital in order to make a difference in the lives of breast cancer patients and their families. Most of all, thank you to the Society and its donors for the tremendous and ongoing support announced today that has raised their cumulative donations, as Marcia said, to over $10 million. You heard Kirk mention our fundraising campaign. We've reached the halfway mark. We've surpassed the halfway mark of our $200 million campaign, and this donation is one of the largest to date. In fact, it is the largest gift to the cancer program as part of this campaign. With tremendous gifts like the one just announced, the campaign is gaining momentum, and we hope to do a more public launch of this exciting campaign sometime in 2015. As you saw in today's videos, our campaign asks why. Each person has a different reason why they give or volunteer to support healthcare in our community, or why they work with such dedication as a clinician, educator, or researcher, making a difference in the lives of patients and families who rely on LHSC. I invite everyone to visit our foundation's website and share their why, to inspire those around us to also make a difference in our community, our region, and beyond. Thanks to everyone for coming here today for this exciting celebration and for allowing the Breast Cancer Society of Canada London Health Sciences Foundation to share the wonderful news with you. This concludes the formal presentation. I invite you to enjoy some cake and refreshments and talk amongst yourselves and with some of the researchers that are here today. Thank you again for coming.